Hello everyone, this is Firefighter Klosterman, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to use the FirstDue smartphone app to complete a PIP. So using the FirstDue smartphone app to complete a PIP is one way to complete a PIP. If our members will also have the option of completing PIPs using FirstDue in a web browser on an MDT or on the station computer or a laptop. But today I'm going to show you how to complete a PIP using the FirstDue smartphone app. So the first step is, say we did our building walkthrough and we have all of our information about the building identified, and I need to find my building on the FirstDue map to initiate my PIP. An easy way to find your building is to simply search for the address. I'm going to use the address search bar at the top of the screen. And today we're going to be using Station 5 as a hypothetical PIP example. So I'm going to search for the address of my building. There's Station 5. And after you search for your address, FirstDue will move the map to the building where the address is located, and it will center on that building. So now I need to access editing a PIP, and the easy way to do that is to tap the map layers button at the top right, scroll down, and select nearby addresses. What this is going to do is that's going to populate the green address icon on the map. This is a shortcut for initiating a PIP. So what I need to do is click on that icon, and I'm going to select Edit Pre-Plan. This is going to open pre-incident planning for this address. And what you see here, so the pre-incident planning menus automatically open for me. And this is where I'm going to add PIP icons, hazmat information, and other information. So right off the bat, FirstDue defaults to opening occupancy details. This is where we can add information about the building if we think that that's pertinent. You do not have to add any information to occupancy details to complete a PIP. The main part that we're going to be using is the plus arrow located on the menu bar at the top here. This is where we're going to add pre-plan icons. The triangle with the exclamation mark is where we add hazardous materials. The person icon is where we can add contact information. This would be things like a building representative, 24-hour maintenance, etc. We're going to talk about in a little bit where we actually want to add that information. We want to add contact information to the Knox box icon because this is more readily accessible for field units when they respond to an incident at a particular building. And we'll talk about how to do that here in a little bit. The paperclip icon is where we can drop attachments that will be associated with the PIP. This is useful for things like floor plans or MSDS sheets for hazardous materials. And then the levels icon is where we can add additional levels to a PIP. The big thing with additional levels is those are essentially user-created map layers for the PIP, and we anticipate we're going to be using additional levels very rarely, only for the most complex PIPs where the ground level view may become cluttered. And we encourage field units to reach out to the AFR FirstDue Operations Committee when considering an additional level, and we can help you out with setting up an additional level and making sure everything's clear and the information is presented correctly. Then the pencil icon is annotations. When using a smartphone to complete a PIP, annotations are not available. Annotations are available when completing a PIP using FirstDue in a web browser. So back to adding our icons. So we're all ready to go. We've opened editing the PIP, and we need to add our icons. So on the smartphone, you're going to click Add New. And then we need to add an icon. So we're going to select our unit type. That's the PIP icon. And then a really useful feature is we have a search bar right here. So instead of scrolling through the entire list of PIP icons, what we can do is search for a specific icon that we want to find. So for example, I'm going to search for the alarm panel. It'll automatically populate the alarm panel. And then we can fill out different information. Most of the time we're going to be operating in the description field. And what we use the description field for is to add additional information to an icon. And the description field is really valuable for adding information about how to access a particular building feature or other pertinent information. So a lot of times with alarm panels, it will be hidden in a closet in the back of a manager's office or in some obscure location. So the alarm panel is a great opportunity to add additional location information. So we're going to say located in computer room. So the reason why we add this description text is for when units respond to a call at a particular address, they're going to be looking for building features. And a lot of times we use the alarm panel. And what they can do is they can click on the icon and this text that I just entered will be displayed. So that'll help our responding units more rapidly locate building features. So when I'm all set, I'm happy with my description text. I can click add. And what's going to happen is you'll see that the alarm panel populates in unmapped items. And what I can do is I can click on this little arrow here in the middle of the screen. That'll collapse the PIP menu, and then I can see that my alarm panel icon is mapped into unmapped items. So using a smartphone, what I need to do is take this icon out of unmapped items and drop it on the building where the alarm panel is located. And what I do is I'm going to tap and hold and then drag the icon a little bit. Sometimes when using a smartphone, what's going to happen is you're going to see the icon appear at the edge of the screen here where I've positioned the alarm panel right now. So it's a little difficult to drag and drop the icon in that case. What you want to do is just tap and hold and reposition the map and get that icon away from the edge of the screen. It'll be a lot easier to drag the icon to where you need it to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the alarm panel icon to the computer room at station 5, and now we're all set. When you position an icon on a building, sometimes it helps to zoom in on the building to get a precise location. But what we want to do with dropping icons is just get it as close as possible to the general location of where that building feature is located. And we just want to make sure we don't want to like crowd a bunch of icons together. So when field units complete a PIP, just use your discretion with dropping the icons, get as close as possible, but try and avoid crowding out icons. And then to continue completing my PIP, all I'll do is I'll just keep adding other icons. Every building is a little bit different, so the icons you're going to use will vary, from building to building. Some buildings may have stairways with standpipes. Some buildings may have specific hazardous construction features. So you're going to get all this information from the building walkthrough, and then when you get into FirstDue to complete your PIP, you're just going to drop the icons associated with the building features you identified during your building walkthrough. So we'll drop one more icon just as an example. What we'll use is, we'll use the main entrance. Go ahead and add it. And you see how the icon appeared at the edge of the screen, so I need to reposition the map and drop my icon. So the main entrance is right there. And then you'll just continue on adding as many icons as you need to complete your PIP. But that's the nuts and bolts of how to drop icons on the map using your smartphone. So when we need to add building information related to property contact information, emergency after-hours maintenance, things like that, what we want to do is associate that information with the Knox box icon. So I'll show you guys how to do that real quick. So what we'll do, most buildings we're going to PIP are going to have a Knox box. And then we want to add that information in the description. So manager, and then we'll just drop the phone number, hypothetical phone number here. And then we'll add that information. So when this PIP is published, all the icons we just added will appear on the FirstDue map automatically when field units respond to a call. And when they need to figure out, like, hey, what's the manager's contact number, what they'll do is they'll click on the Knox box icon, and then that phone number will automatically appear. So that's a really easy way for field units to access that information. So moving on, certain buildings are going to have hazardous materials. And adding hazardous materials is similar to adding regular PIP icons. What we're going to do is just add new. There's a bunch of fields that we can fill out, but what we really care about is going to be quantity, location, the date verified, and any additional comments. If you'd like, you can add the UN number, specific chemical names, the different health, fire, reactivity hazards, etc. But what we really want is what they are, how much, and where they're located. So let's say we had some basic pool chemicals at station 5. So we'd say chlorine. And then let's say we had some other random chemicals in the closet. We'll just say gasoline. It'll just depend on the building, what kind of hazardous materials you have. And then our quantity, we'll just say there's 30 gallons. And then gasoline, we'll just say there's 5 gallons. Just hypothetical. In location, we'll just describe the location. So closet. Pretty simple. And then date verified, just hypothetically, we'll say today. And then comments, we can add any other additional information related to the hazardous materials or the storage location, etc. We can also drop files for maybe a MSDS, safety sheet, etc. And we'll click add. And our little hazardous materials icon will appear just like regular PIP icons. And then just like any other PIP icon, we're going to drag and drop that icon where the hazardous materials are located. A quick tip with completing your PIP, if the green address icon that's located at the center of the screen is in the way of where you need to locate PIP icons on the map, you can move this icon. What we ask is that you just move this to a location that's out of the way of your PIP icons where it can also be easily found if someone needs to come after you and update the PIP. So we'll say this icon's in the way and we need to move it out of the way of where we need to drop PIP icons, but I've moved it to a location where it can easily be located. That's the nuts and bolts of adding icons to the map and completing a PIP. When we're all done with our PIP, we're either going to save a draft PIP or we're going to publish a PIP. At the top of the screen, you'll see a check mark, a little floppy disk icon, and an X. Clicking the check mark will publish your PIP. And what that does is when you publish a PIP, your PIP will be available instantaneously for all AFR members to view. If you click the floppy disk icon, that saves a draft PIP. So let's say I get interrupted and my PIP is incomplete. I can save a draft PIP. I can go back in and edit that PIP at a time of my convenience. And if I click the X button, that actually cancels the PIP. Any progress you've made on the PIP, if you click the X, will not be saved. So if I need to save my PIP, I need to make sure I click the floppy disk icon. So in this case, I'll click the floppy disk. That saves a draft PIP. And then if I'm ready to go to publish my PIP, all I'll do is go back in, edit my pre-plan, and if I want to publish my PIP, click the check mark. That will actually publish the PIP, and now this PIP is viewable for all AFR members. So as we can see, I went back into response mode, and now the icons that I dropped for Station 5 are viewable on the map. You can see that's the information I added to the Knox box. Viewable immediately for all AFR members.